Hi there and welcome. This is Jennifer McGuire, and today I am honored to be a guest over at Ellen Hudson. It is her 12 tags of Christmas with a feminine twist, and I do this every year and I always look forward to it. Well, today I will be using Hero Arts products, one of my favorite companies, and I'm going to show you a really easy way to create a three-dimensional tag using die cutting. Now, there are many different dies that would work for this, and I'll give some tips on how to choose, but I have three examples. The first example is the tree one, and I'll be using the Hero Arts Fir Tree Infinity die set. Now, for this technique, you need a die that is symmetrical, that you can fold it down the middle and the two sides will meet up nicely. Now, this tree isn't perfectly symmetrical because of the jagged tree edges, but it's close enough for this technique. Usually you want to use something like a circle or a star that you can fold in half perfectly. Now I'm using my Scor-Buddy and a bone folder to put a score line right down the center. Now again, when this folds, it won't be perfectly matched, but it's good enough for the tree effect. Now you can use anywhere between 3 to 8 die cuts for this. I used about 6 today, so I could have a nice fluffy tree. Now I'm using green cardstock, but you could even use scraps of different colors of green cardstock if you want to, or even patterned paper. This is an excellent technique for using up scraps. So now I'm going through and just folding them in half, and then I am using my bone folder to reinforce that fold. Next, I'm cutting off the little tree trunks. I'll add my own little brown cardstock tree trunk later on when we put the tag together. Okay, so now it's time to create the tag this tree will go on. I'm using the Hero Arts Tag Infinity die set. This is another one of their nesting die sets that has 5 different tag sizes and a few different tag topper options. It's a great die set to have. I cut it from some Neenah Desert Storm Kraft cardstock. This is a nice soft craft color. And I'm stamping this Hero Arts Confetti background stamp on it with Hero Arts Unicorn White pigment ink. This will give a beautiful white kind of snowfall look on the background of the tag. I inked up my stamp, dropped the tag onto it, put some scrap cardstock over it so I could press around, and then remove the tag. Now keep in mind this tag will be wet for a little bit because it's a pigment ink, so you either want to let it dry or just heat set it. Now this cardstock is pretty thin, it's 80 pounds, and I wanted something stronger to kind of hold this big tree on it. So I've actually die cut 3 of the tags, and I'm gluing 2 behind the stamped one. So I have 3 stacked up here. Now you could use a heavier weight cardstock or just do 2 layers, but I think this works well. Now on the back of our little trees, we need some strong adhesive. I recommend either using a strong liquid adhesive, which I'll show you in a few minutes, or a strong double-sided tape. And you want to make sure some of that adhesive gets down towards the crease on the tree so that it really holds it in place. Now you'll notice I'm putting double-sided tape on both sides of the folded tree. You only need to do one side. I have no idea why I did 2 sides. Totally ignore that. Afterwards, I'm like, why did I do that? But you really only need tape on one side. So on one side of your tree, you would remove the release paper and stick it to the side of another tree that doesn't have tape. So then you have those 2 trees glued together. And you continue to do this to glue one half of a tree to another, and you're going to end up forming this beautiful tree. So you can see why it's important to use a die cut that you can score down the center and have symmetrical. So circles, stars, some ornament dies would work great, some snowflakes, which I'm going to show you in a moment. You could use many different dies, so I'd check what you have in your stash. But boy, do I think this tree die cut is perfect. Okay, so I'm going to continue to do this where I glue one half onto the next, and you end up getting a fluffier tree depending on how many tree die cuts you use. The more die cuts you use, the fluffier your tree will be. Now, of course, this isn't something I'm going to put in an envelope and mail. Instead, this is something I would attach to a gift or hang from a gift bag. And check out how awesome that looks. Now, and once I'm done, I have the 2 halves that are exposed here, and I'm going to make sure there's double-sided tape on both of those halves, and I'll stick that onto my gift card. If you wanted, you could continue and do more die cuts and end up with a completely round tree that you turn into an ornament. But I wanted to do a tag today. Now to decorate the top of my tag, I decided to use some good old-fashioned twine. I feel like this is something that's very inexpensive and works with a variety style of cards, or tags in this case. And I layered 3 pieces together, and I'm tying it into a big old bow here. And then I'll trim the ends off. Now to glue this to the top of my tag, I'm going to use a very strong liquid adhesive. My adhesive of choice is the Tim Holtz Collage Medium. Holds great and it dries clear. So I put quite a bit of that down right at the top of the tree. I'm putting the knot of my bow into it and using these tweezers to hold it in place. These tweezers, when you release them, grip, so it's perfect for holding it there while it dries, which doesn't take too long. I can then put a string through the hole to tie this onto my gift. Okay, so now I wanted to decorate my tree. So I'm using tiny little drops of the Collage Medium and dropping into it some gemstones. You could use gemstones or pearls. You could even use like Nouveau drops if you want to, but I really like the shine of the gemstones. I'm using a jewel picker to pick up one at a time, and I'm using a variety of colors and of sizes. And I'm putting them on any of the sides of the tree that you can see when you're looking straight on here. I also added a stamp sentiment to kind of stick out the top of the tag there. I'll show you the stamp set soon. And I did a little brown trunk that I added to the bottom of the tree. You can write your message on the back of the tag and look at that dimension and the shine that you get. I just think this is so much fun. And Lila decided that we're going to make these with her Girl Scout troop, so I'm looking forward to that. Now the stamp set that I used on this one is the Hero Arts Snowy Tree stamp set. This is a beautiful stamp layering set to create a gorgeous snowy tree, but I also like the small sentiments in this, and I use them on the other tags too. Okay, let's next do the Snowflake tag that you see over there to the right. This time I'm going to use liquid adhesive. Now for this one, it's the Hero Arts Snowflake Infinity die set. Look at all the different size snowflakes you get in this one. And again, the price point is excellent. I again die cut about 6 or 7 of these snowflakes, and I'm scoring these down the middle. Now, I will tell you, I wish I would have changed up the colors of cardstock, so I had a few different shades of blue here, or even some maybe glitter paper, but I can try that next time. After I've scored and folded in half each of the snowflakes, I'm using that Collage Medium, which is super strong, to glue 2 halves together. Now you need to make sure that your crease lines kind of line up with each other and that you apply pressure to this while it dries because you don't want it to come apart. It dries pretty quick. This actually dries quicker than most liquid adhesives. So what I do is put an acrylic block on it while it's kind of drying, add some more adhesive to another snowflake, add it on top, then put the acrylic block back on. And before you know it, they will all be adhered together and dry very quickly. Now again, this time I'm doing about 6 snowflakes. I think between 4 and 6 is good, but if you're using a thinner paper, you could probably add more. Another fun thing you could do is stamp on these die cuts before you assemble them, or even spray them with like a glitter spray. Okay, so once I have it finished, I'm putting strong adhesive on the back of the 2 exposed halves. Decided to use tape for this one because then I didn't have to hold it in place while it dries. Adding that to another stamped Hero Arts tag here. And then we have a little 3-dimensional snowflake. Now on this one, I added some white silk ribbon to the top, something that I've had in my stash for a long time. I added another sentiment from that Snowy Tree stamp set. And then I added clear gemstones to the tip of the snowflake, so you can see how it catches the light so nicely. And again, this one you can write your message on the back of the tag and give it to anyone on a gift. Okay, so now for the third example. I'm just going to show you this one briefly because it's really impactful. Now that one in the middle uses the Hero Arts 12-point star infinity die set. This is one of my favorite die sets this year, and I've used it in many different videos. Well, today I used the medium-sized star to create a dimensional tag. So just like all the other examples I showed you, I cut about 6 of them, scored it down the middle, and I glued them back to back. So here's what you end up with. It's so impressive. I think it'd be fun to keep going on this one so that you create a completely dimensional looking ornament that you could hang on a tree. You could make a bunch of those. But again, I'm working on tags today. So I'm adding this one to a white tag that I created with the Hero Arts Tag Infinity die set. And by the way, this is like a gold shimmer cardstock that I had in my stash. If you don't have any cardstock like that, you could just use like a gold colored cardstock and spray it with like a shimmer mist and it'll give the same effect. I again am adding to the top of this a triple bow. This is some silver cording that I had in my stash. And I'm holding it in place to dry with my tweezers. That's a great way to hold something together so it has time to dry, but you don't have to sit there and hold it. Now I had this little sentiment with nowhere to go on my tag, so I decided to make it look like it's kind of floating on top of this star. Sorry, my head gets in the way there. And this really worked out well. I was surprised how well this held. Because this is a strong liquid adhesive, I put a few tiny drops onto the edges of my star that are sticking out in the front. And I'm putting my little sentiment strip right into those drops of adhesive. This adhesive dries clear and matte, so you won't see it if there's extra. And check out how it floats there, and it really is stuck there pretty good, so I don't have to worry about it coming off. Really fun one, and again, I think this would be great for a 3-dimensional ornament. Okay, so there you have some fun ways to create 3-dimensional tags out of some die cuts. Again, reach for any symmetrical die cut and you can try this technique. If you're interested in the supplies, I have them linked below. Be sure to check out the rest of this series over at Ellen Hudson. It starts today and it goes on for 12 days, so I will link to that too. Thanks for watching. Have a wonderful day and we'll see you soon.